Hey, hey, welcome to a segment of Let's Talk Strategies with Danette Moss. You're joining me here today on this fabulous platform of Limelight TV. And joining me today is a beautiful, awesome, wonderful woman by the name of Mary Massey. I'm so excited to have her here joining me on Let's Talk Strategies with Danette Moss because she comes with a wealth of knowledge that can help you, that busy, possibly overwhelmed female CEO, take her business to the next level. I'm all about helping you take your business from overwhelm to putting it on rinse and repeat. And before we bring Mary on, I want to tell you a bit about who she is. Mary is that dynamic, motivational speaker, and you guys will get a chance to get a taste of that flavor today. She's also a podcaster, a fitness expert. She considers herself that serial entrepreneur because she is dedicated to helping women in that personal growth area. She's that strategist that deals with this, all about the strategies. Mary also empowers her clients to implement effective methods for reducing stress, boosting self confidence, and finding fulfillment. As a social media coach, she guides her clients to gain visibility and increase their reach through social media. Mary Deal, she helps people with workshops, lead magnets, video marketing, and email campaigns. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring her on because, hey, I could sit here and just give all the accolades all day long, but we're going to give Mary that chance to come on in and share here with you. I'm all about helping you get your sass on, and Mary is going to do just that. Hey, hey, Mary, welcome to Let's Talk Strategy with Danette Moss. How are you today?
I'm blessed, I'm great, and I'm grateful to be here with you, Danette.
I'm excited to have you here today. Our topic of discussion today is one that is something that I feel is really needed: the mindset of an entrepreneur, from relationship to social media. When I looked at the topic, as I, of course, as always, will ask people, what do you think you could share to help our audience, that female CEO, that overwhelmed woman? When you came back with the mindset of entrepreneurship, from relationship to social media, I said the first question I was going to ask you is, why that? Why is from relationship to social media and mindset? How did you come up with that? Tell us a bit about that.
Well, that's a great question. And the mindset is everything. As we know, our minds will either lead us to success or lead us to fear and procrastination and ultimately to failure. So for me, it's always been very important to understand deep down what my goals are, what my fears are, and how to navigate through all of that so that I can get to a space where I need to be. Not only that, but it's also important when it comes to relationships. Your mindset will determine how your relationships are with certain people in your life, in your home, with your children, with your spouse. It's a lot really that we need to think about when it comes to that. But the first thing is always for me the mindset, that self-awareness that we need to have to understand ourselves, to understand the things that we may not be so good at that we need help with, to also understand how to communicate, how to have that emotional intelligence within ourselves, but also to perceive what's going on around us. To be able to notice what everybody else is doing around us, especially in our immediate environment, which is where we normally typically work from when you're an entrepreneur.
Awesome, awesome. And as busy mompreneurs, wifepreneurs, just women who have a lot going on in their life, I feel as though that mindset is something that you got to get a hold to right out the
Mhm.
gate. Now I know
Right.
some of us may struggle with that, and when we think about mindset, because we run into so many people that have different philosophies, different thought processes about what mindset is as it pertains to being a business owner or just your individual life. But I was kind of wondering, Mary, when we think about the mindset as it comes to business, because I'm going to tell you, I've had several people tell me, nobody want to hear about that mindset stuff. Let's just get down to it. But Mary, I find that if you don't address mindset and have the checkup from the neck up as it pertains to mindset as a business owner, that's going to be your first point of failure, in my opinion. Because when you run up against that brick wall and things are not working the way that you desire for it to work, it's going to take the mindset that will help you have that stick to itness or the tenacity, right?
Mhm.
To continue to go on. So when we think about mindset, what mindset shift do you believe are necessary for someone to transition from
Mhm.
the employee to the entrepreneur?
Mhm. So that was my journey, actually. I was in corporate for a while before I decided to not go back to corporate. And for me, the decision came after we had our daughter. We knew that we weren't going to be one of those households that had their kid in daycare. And some people have to do that. For us, it was just about making the adjustments so that I would be able to stay home. But I already kind of had a little bit of a side business going, and that side business was web design and development. And that was something that allowed me to stay home and be able to work around my daughter's schedule. There were times when I would have to park near, let's say, a Starbucks or a place that had Wi-Fi so that I could work from my laptop while she slept. So it was a great way for me to have that flexibility. Was it scary for me to leave corporate? In a way, because the money was good and I needed to make some major adjustments. But I would say to anybody who's looking to leave corporate, you have to have a plan. And for me, it's not like one day I said, okay, I'm going on maternity leave and I'm done. I'm not going to do anything. And then start to think about, okay, what can I do in terms of my own business? And a lot of people do that. But if you are contemplating on leaving your regular job, your 9 to 5, have a plan, because there's the benefits issues that you need to be concerned with, and also what it is that you can do for yourself that is not going to have you feeling so incredibly stressed out and overwhelmed. You have to look forward to working hard. You have to enjoy working hard. You have to also have a lot of faith. And you and I, Danette, we're those kind of women. We are covered by his grace, and we know that no matter what happens, God's got our back. So we also walk in faith and we take that step into the unknown. And entrepreneurship, there's a lot of unknowns, even from day to day, because even when you have your schedule set and you know that you're going to do this thing or that thing, something is bound to happen. Something is bound to trip you up. And having that awareness and that mindset to be able to handle these things is also very important. So that was like a long answer to what you asked.
No, but I appreciate it because again, truly showing the real deal reality. It's not trying to fake it till you make it or act like it's something else. This is a real journey. It can be a lonely journey.
Yeah.
It can even be frustrating. Let's just be real. My show is all about the real deal reality of helping people see the true ins and out of this whole thing called business ownership, entrepreneurship as a female entrepreneur, right? And there was one thing that you said that really just stood out to me. You spoke about you coming from working for someone else, you being married, having a child, and you and your husband deciding that you did not want your child to go into daycare, right?
Mhm.
That is extremely, or your children to go into daycare. That's important. And
Yeah.
understanding the ins and out of so many different things and making the decision in the very beginning, mapping out, planning things out the correct way. You mentioned that also is so important because if you don't have a plan, write the vision and make it plain so them that see it can run with it.
Yeah.
That scripture base that I just mentioned there talks about so them that see it can run with it. But if you don't know what it is you're doing, if you don't have a plan for you, how do you expect for other people to see it, right? So I appreciated the fact that you mentioned that you got with your significant other and you
Yeah.
all mapped out a plan with what it is you needed to do so that you can show up successfully and also understand that there may be some times where you've got to kind of, have an A-B plan as well.
Mhm.
So my
Yeah.
next question that I have for you when it comes to that, coming from working for someone and now running and owning and operating a successful business yourself, how do successful entrepreneurs in your book balance their personal relationships
Mhm.
with their professional goals? That's a big one, Mary.
Yeah. And it's a very big one. And it's something that comes with time and experience and a little bit of heartache. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you work so hard, you never stop thinking about your business, how to strategize differently, all the people that you meet. And having a supportive partner, and I have to say, not everybody has this, but I'm very blessed to have a supportive partner, to have a great husband who understands my desire and my need to do what I do, never clipping my wings. He's also somebody that, and I'm going to say this is something very important. You have to have conversations. You have to compromise in certain ways sometimes. And if you don't communicate your wants and your needs and your desires and what allows you to feel fulfilled, your partner's never going to know. By the same token, if they don't communicate these things with you, they're not going to know. My husband has a regular job. He comes home and he's done with work, doesn't have to think about it. But he also does the laundry. He also is an amazing dad for the kids. Whenever I have to travel or go anywhere, or even if I have to escape, because I'm the type of person who needs to get away once in a while with my girlfriends, girls trip, he has no problem working from home or leaving work early to pick up my son from school, all of those things. So you balance by, I would say, you find the harmony between it all. Within yourself, you have to have boundaries. And these boundaries are super important. And that comes with time again, because there were times when I would work until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, be crazy exhausted the next day, not be present. Because aside from all of the things that I do, I'm also a fitness professional. I teach fitness classes in person. I would go to all of these various events because they were so much fun. And I'm surrounded by people who are very active and Zumba people, it's a whole vibe. So I wanted that also, but then I had to take a step back from him communicating with me that, okay, are you doing too much of this and too much of that? What about our family time? What about our date nights? What about the kids? So I had to take a step back and really prioritize what was important, not just for him, but also for me, because we compromise as couples. It's not about putting ourselves last, but also doing the things that we know are important for us. And for me, that's family time. And again, it comes with time. It comes with you realizing and having that awareness that, okay, maybe this isn't working the way that it should be, or you feel that little tug in your heart that you need to begin to say no to certain things, say no to some opportunities, because you know that it's not going to serve you in the long run. It's not going to serve your family and your purpose. And a lot of the times that's like the biggest why to what we do. It's our family leaving that legacy. So for me, it's about now being present and knowing that I'm going to do certain things on certain days. And by the time the kids are home or in the evenings, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to think about business or anything like that. But also remember, it's been about almost 20 years of me being in business and understanding how to navigate all of that.
I am so appreciating your transparency because, see, this is real. Again, I think everything you said here is awesome and real, of course. But the transparency is so important because you're not sugarcoating things. You also have shown us the importance of setting boundaries
Mm,
and the communications piece. We think about, again, our topic, the mindset of entrepreneurs going from, you know, pardon me, the mindset of an entrepreneur from relationship to social media. It's all about relationship in
yeah.
your household, relationship, as a business owner, relationship, whether you're networking, relationship. But
Mhm.
we do not want to kill that main relationship. One, relationship with the Father God.
Yeah.
Secondly, with our family, right?
Mhm.
I was guilty too of being in business and focusing so much, being right here at my desk. I look up and 12 and 14 hours later, I'm still
Yeah.
sitting here. Dinner is not ready. These
Mhm.
things are not done the way that they need to be. As a mother of 5 and a grandmother of 5, most people don't believe that, of course.
I can't believe you're a grandmother, but okay.
Yeah, my eldest daughter, she'll be 35,
Wow.
and just sitting here and, thinking through what you were saying, it gives me that moment to reminisce about those same mistakes that I made. But learning from
Mm,
those mistakes are key. And as you mentioned, communications and setting those boundaries of what it is that you're agreeing to do so that you can show up
yeah.
guilt free and to be able to manifest that thing that we know you plan on manifesting. You're in business to help others, but you're also in business to make money. So I truly appreciate you again for your transparency
Mhm.
I want to dig a little deeper though, Mary, because now you have shared with me who you are, Mary, the family woman, along with business. So we've mixed it all in. But I want to kind of peel back that onion layer in your area of expertise that I know you can truly help us on. And I want to talk about the importance of strong social media presence,
Mhm.
because this is what you truly specialize in as a social media manager, or what the title that you would call yourself. I know a lot of times we don't want to put manager on the end, but you manage so many different areas for people and you train people in
Yeah.
this area. Can you share your experience of building a strong social media presence as an entrepreneur, and why is that important?
Yes, absolutely. The way I see it is when you're in business, whether you have a bakery, a pizzeria, or a boutique somewhere, you're not going to open up a shop without a proper business plan. And that means that that business plan is, several pages long. You talk about financials, where your revenue's coming from, your rent, expenses, anything and everything, certificates of occupancy, so many things, your legal stuff when it comes to opening up that business. Now, what a lot of business owners fail to see, and I believe it's because of just, lack of education and lack of us really talking about it. And that's something that I really want to focus on going forward, not just for myself, but also my network of ladies, everybody that I talk to, is to also understand that you need a business plan for your online presence, whether that's your website. And you know this, Danette, because you are all about strategy. So understanding that you still have to have a great foundation for your online presence, your website, your newsletter, all the things that Danette does, as well as how you show up in terms of your social media, your videos, your graphics, everything that you do, your branding. It's an extension of your business, and it's a vital part of your business now in this day and age, because everybody's flocking to social media to find out who you are. And if they come to your Instagram page and they see things that maybe don't look that good, or they try to figure out who you are and you're not necessarily expressing that through your posts and your videos, they're just going to keep walking. Like anything else, I say that your social media is like the window to your boutique, to your store. And if you're walking through a downtown area and you're looking at these windows to the stores, if they're not inviting you to come in, you're not going to want to go in. You're just going to keep walking. And it's the same with your social media, be it your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. So think about how it is that you're showing up. Think about having that clarity as to who it is that you're serving. So if you have a boutique that specializes in swimsuits only and cover ups, you're not going to post about jeans and jackets and hats, so there's a massive disconnect. So you have to understand also your target audience when you're posting on social media, which should be an extension also of yourself and showing a little bit of your personality, because even though you're a brand on social media, people still want to know who the person is behind that brand. Unless you're Amazon or Nike or whatever, right? You don't need to do that. But when you're a small business, it's important to have that connection. And I would say an emotional connection with your audience, so that they trust you and they look at what you're either promoting or selling, whatever service or product it is that you have.
So, Mary, with that being said, in your honest opinion, and we know it's all about honesty here on Let's Talk Strategies with Danette, but in your honest opinion, as a business owner, as a successful woman in business, because that's who I love working with,
Mhm.
what is the most important skill or skill set do you believe we should have as an entrepreneur? What is that skill set that you believe we should possess? And if they are struggling with not having that, they're there, somebody told them they need to go into business, that not so friendly thing happened and a lot of us came
Mhm.
home. Um, what is that most important skill set they should have, or how can they possibly develop it if they don't have it?
Yeah, I would say communication,
Mm.
because when you think about it, you need to be able to communicate what you do, who you're for, whether you're speaking to somebody in person or whether you're showing up on social media. So what are you communicating? What is your message? when you are showing up. And you can communicate your message through a graphic, through a video, but your communication skills, that goes into marketing as well. So in order for you to be able to market your business and your service, you have to be able to communicate effectively. Otherwise, your message is just going to fall flat and nobody will understand what you're doing.
Now that leads right into my next question. Did you see that big bright smile I had? Because you mentioned marketing, and again, with you doing so well, as I watch you and as I've learned from you myself, I look at, wow, she's so on point with her branding and her marketing and all of those key things. But we've had so many people tell us that branding and marketing is important, but that we needed to develop something that we may understand and know, but a lot of people are not aware of. That
Mhm.
whole question about the importance of branding and marketing for the successful entrepreneur, but how do we develop that strong brand identity?
Wow, with time. And I'm not going to lie to you because I have pivoted and I have changed my branding so many times over the years. It's a lot easier and less frustrating to say, I am a person who focuses on helping small businesses with taxes, for example, and that's all you do, because now you are well aware what you do. Your branding is all about giving that advice and those tips and the way that you show up to help your potential client who owns a small business. But with somebody like me who has had so many things, so many pivots in life, from web design and development to fitness to nutrition to life coaching to network marketing, like so many different companies that I work with, it was very frustrating for me to find clarity. And even though the business coaches that I had worked with in the past would say, Mary, you need to focus on one thing. You need to focus on one thing. Your message is not clear. I would say, but this is who I am. And still, I had to learn how to narrow that down and how to make sure that I was communicating effectively who my ideal client was. And that came with a lot of introspection, and I may not still be there because it's all about the growth. It may take me a while to finally get to where I want to be. I've narrowed it down quite a bit. But like the saying goes, your branding is not necessarily how you show up, it's what people say about you when you're not in your room. Like, what are you known for? You know, if somebody says, oh, yeah, Mary can help you with that, what is Mary helping you with? What is Danette helping you with?
Mhm.
So that is part of your branding. It's an extension of not just, it's not just about the visuals or the logo or the colors. It's about who you are and how you show up. And that personal brand is everything. And that's something that you carry with you. And it will morph over time. You'll have different iterations of that branding. I joke around and say that this is like Mary 5.0 now. Okay. But what was Mary 1.0 before? People knew me before for web design and development. And then it was all about the fitness and the nutrition for me. And for me, transitioning from that, from being known for fitness and nutrition, that was the era of social media, of course, because when I started web design and development, that was back in 2003, 2004, when we didn't even have Facebook. So it's not like by the time Facebook came along, I was promoting all about my web design business and my graphic design business and video editing. There was a little bit of that, but by then I had already gotten so much into fitness that that's what people knew me for. So when I began to share a lot of my business expertise, there was a big disconnect on social media because people are like, wait a minute, aren't you known for helping women lose weight and all that? So I had to reposition myself and educate my audience and allow them to understand that it's not just about that for me. Yes, that's an extension of who I am. But the reason why I became so well known for that is because of my business background and how I showed up on social media because of the skills that I had. So you work through it over time. You have conversations with people. One thing that really did help a lot was asking my network, what do you come to me for? What is it that you know me for? Why is it that you come to me for this thing and not somebody else? And that's a great way to really understand what your true passion is, because sometimes you don't see it, but other people will see it in you.
I love that you mentioned asking your network. That's like live surveying at its best. And that kind of brings me on this next question is how important do you believe as a woman in business, how important do you believe networking is as you know in our industry or
Mhm.
how blends into what we do. And how do you recommend we get started in this journey of networking as successful business owners?
Yeah, well, in this day and age, networking is pivotal. And for me, it works beautifully because I'm not the type of person that will come to you in a crowd at a networking event and say, "Hi, my name is," or ask you what you're doing. It works beautifully now online because we have so many opportunities to network and to make meaningful connections. So for me, it's not just about going to the audio rooms or doing the live video events. It's about going off of those platforms and, for example, having like little 15-minute Zooms to get to know people a little bit better as opposed to going back and forth into direct messages. Having collaborations is huge right now. I mean, Danette, I wouldn't know you if it weren't for, the Mom Link, the group that we belong to, and also having that openness and saying, okay, this person does something similar to what I do, but what can I learn from that? And what can I help them with? How can I provide some sort of service and education to that person? And quite honestly, that's the way that I show up. It's not about, okay, teach me something. It's about what can I do for you? Like, how can I fill in those gaps? How can I help your audience? If I show up on a podcast or another interview, it's like, okay, what can I provide to help, to help fill in those gaps? And that helps me because when you're a coach, it's very fulfilling to be able to help. If I can just help one person, I'm happy. But having that collaboration is also beautiful because even though we both might be coaches in the same field, you have your own way of doing things and you fill in those gaps in another way that is complementary to what we do. So networking and collaborations from a genuine place without that feeling of jealousy or competition is something that I had to learn myself over time, and it's become a blessing for me to be able to get to know several different women who not just do what I do, but do it so beautifully and so openly and lovingly.
I was sitting here and I found myself doing like this clapping because you mentioned how we met each other. And for those of you that are watching this, we did not know each other. We met each other in a networking or a group setting, a group of women. And I love the setting because at least in this particular group, there's no sense of competition. And that's what I love about what you just mentioned, collaboration over competition. And
Mhm.
yes, here we both are, business strategists in our own way, right? But
Yeah.
someone may resonate more with you than they do with me.
Mhm.
And having that openness to know that you cannot do it all, girl, and it
Yeah.
may be for somebody else. And maybe that person's personality may not be the best for you, but they may fit you better. And I know that I have someone else I can connect them with. So I
Mhm.
love that. I love the sense of synergy, understanding the importance of networking because networking is uber important. Nobody knows about you until you can get around other people. If you're just in that
Mhm.
journey by yourself and trying to hold on to all the secrets, then you're a mystery. You're not a you're not a business owner, right? So
That's
we
right.
definitely don't want to find yourself trapped into that area. Mary, I have a couple more questions that I do want to ask you because I really want people to just learn a lot more about you. And we're going to get into how they can get in touch with you and what's next with you soon. But we started out our conversation at the beginning. And remember, again, our title was The Mindset of an Entrepreneur
Mhm.
from
Mhm.
relationship to social media.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, how do you, Mary Massey of Mary Massey Coaching, help yourself, or how do you manage failure as an entrepreneur and maintain that positive
Yeah.
mindset in the midst of it?
Mhm. Well, let me first address the positive side of things because sometimes staying positive or wanting to stay positive all the time is exhausting. So exhausting, and it hurts. So having that, I call it toxic positivity, no matter what, you try to see the good, you try to see the good. But it's important also to suck at what you do and to say, you know what, I totally sucked at this. What do I need to do in order to get better at it? And having pivoted so many times, and I say pivot because I could easily say having failed so many times, right? Because we can look at things and say, this one thing didn't work out. Oh man, poor me, poor me, poor me, and stay in that space and never post another video again, never talk about your business again. So it's about trying something in a different way. And it's about not, sticking with the goal, not changing the goal, but changing the strategy and the plan. So we don't change the goal, we change the plan. And for me, the goal is always to serve and to continue to put myself out there and to leave a legacy. And for one day, for people to talk about me in a good way at my wake and to say, Mary, help me with this thing, Mary, help me with that thing. Whether I did it through this one business or this other business is irrelevant. The goal there is to continue to help. And it's heartbreaking though, sometimes I have to say, and it's happened so many times when I will launch something and it will fall flat, or I will pour a lot of time and money into a program and not make a penny from it. And these things happen. And that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. It's about trying something. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but you try again. You got to keep going. You have to have that faith. And you know that maybe you're just one connection away, or maybe one conversation away, or maybe one prayer away, or one different way of doing this one thing away from finally hitting it and feeling that fulfillment. And it's not all about the finances either, like having that monetary success. Yeah, great. Sometimes I've had it, and I got to tell you, some things it's been hard, where I'm like, okay, where's that next client coming from? But thankfully, I have a great partner. I do this because I love it. I don't do it because it's my main source of income, which is great. And I know that for a lot of people, it is. You go into business and you have to make it work no matter what. And I think that in that way, maybe I did have a little bit of a safety net, but a lot of people don't have that. So what do? You pick yourself up, you have conversations, you talk about your struggles, you talk to other people who know what it's like, and you find yourself a mentor if you can't hire a coach. And if you can hire a coach, do it, because it's the best shortcut to success. Having the right strategy from day one is going to allow you to do things in a more effective way, rather than building that second floor before you actually have a solid foundation. Okay. And that goes for everything in life. So I'm sitting here telling you right now, it's not easy, but understanding that no matter what happens, you're going to persevere and you're going to build that resilience. And a lot of those difficult moments are preparing you for the next the next big thing, I should say, that is happening to you. And if you're not able to handle the little stuff, they're not going to be able to handle the big stuff. If you're not grateful for the little things that happen, or the little money that comes in, or that person who bought something at $27, you're not going to be grateful for the person that buys your high ticket offer. So there's so much that goes into that. And it's from the littlest things to the biggest things, and how you're able to handle that with grace and with faith, and also being able to communicate with people who understand you at a deeper level and who are willing to pull you out of that crazy bucket that you keep falling into.
I so appreciate the fact that you use the analogy, building the second floor before you dealt with the first floor. It's
Yeah.
boom to fail, right? It's like the analogy that I give. It's an old one, but it's something that I usually lend to bring it out each time. I always say, why are we're taking mud and throwing it up against the wall and expecting for it to stick?
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
have to have that plan. I don't care how much tenacity or excitement you may have, and with a thinking positive. If you don't have a plan, it's going to fail. And if you build the plan and you miss certain steps, oftentimes we find ourselves having to take backward steps. And
Yeah.
I want to encourage everyone. I want to say this: it's okay if you have to make some backwards, step back
Mhm.
some and look at some different things, but it's a lot more easier and helpful if you can map it out. That write the vision and make it plain, right?
Yeah.
That I mentioned earlier. So them that see it can run with it. You need to see it first. You need to have clarity. And when you get clarity, now you kind of know the direction you want to go in. With clarity, you know what you do lack and what you need to go and get. But
Mhm.
if you're just jumping up and doing things because you feel like maybe this is that best thing to do, or we get that squirrel mentality, right, Mary?
Oh my gosh, tell me about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because everybody said this and everyone's doing that. And then you find yourself frustrated. Now you're ready to quit because
Mhm.
you don't have clarity. So I encourage everyone, get that clarity, understanding from day one, whether you're a new woman in business or a seasoned existing woman in business. You need to write it out. You need to map it out. And if you lack the skill set, do as Mary said, go and get that help. Get a coach, get a mentor. This will alleviate a lot of heartaches. You're going to have some, let's just be real.
Mhm.
but it will alleviate a lot of it. So, Mary, I want to ask you as we begin to wrap things up, what is next for you? What's going on? Do we have any upcoming events, any programs that we can get involved with?
Well, yeah. Well, I have a podcast out now that again took, it's another extension of what I do. And it took a while to finally say, okay, I'm doing this. So that is out currently. I have a retreat that incorporates wellness into it, lots of fun coming up in September. And besides that, just continuing to serve my people, continuing to coach as much as I can and to offer my services of mixing in the wellness with the entrepreneurship and the lifestyle type coaching, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I really truly feel that if you wake up in the morning and you don't have that thirst for the thing that you are trying to put out there, and if you don't have the confidence to show up, you're not going to do it. So we work a lot on that, working on your mindset, your physical fitness, and also your entrepreneurship and how you show up properly on social media. So for me, that's the biggest foundation to everything else. Is I want everybody to understand that if you're not well up here, if you don't have the right resources to help you navigate that uncertainty, that frustration, that stress and overwhelm, you're going to have a hard time showing up for your business and showing up for everybody else around you in a way that is effective and in a way that is intentional. So that's basically my message to everybody, is just to continue to do everything with intention. And whether it's finding a coach or a mentor or somebody else to talk to, just make sure that you are communicating and just continue to show up effectively.
I just love how you touched on so many important areas. You easily blended life and business together.
Mhm.
We speak about the mindset. We think about owning and operating a successful business. You touched on lifestyle. You touched on health, right? All these things are so important as a business owner, let alone a woman in business. We have so much that we have that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Life is lifing, right?
Yep. Yep.
Right? So you hit those key things, and I thoroughly appreciate you for that. For those of you that are looking here and listening to us live, and those of you that may look at this replay later on, because we are on the Limelight TV network, we're on E360, Roku, Apple TV, and all of that. I want to make sure you know how to find Mary. As you see, we have marymassey.com here. I know that I also hang out with her over on Instagram periodically. Pardon me, that's mine, not Mary's. On Instagram there periodically. And I want you to be able to get in touch with her. Make sure that you connect with her. And by all means, connect with her to help build your business, to help build your life. She does a lot with lifestyle. She can really help you in so many areas. Oftentimes, you'll hear me say, I like to give you the checkup from the neck up. I know that Mary can give you that as well. We both come from a space of the genuine piece of making sure that you get what you need, not just in your business, but in your life. Because how many of us know, and I know Mary can agree with this, that it's a mesh. You can't separate these. Unfortunately, I learned the hard way from different people that keep your business separate from your life. There is no way that you can do this. Mary offers the things that you can do to help you mesh them both together. I want to make sure you connect with her over here at Instagram at Mary Massey Fit, and also over at Mary Massey, and go ahead and get connected with her with all her upcoming events. Definitely check out her podcast and all of the things that she'll have coming up next in the near future. I'm sure I'm going to have Mary back here because there's so many other questions that I had to ask her. But I do want to ask, before we end things, Mary, any final words that you may have for our guest audience that are viewing our awesome show here today?
Yes, of course. I would say stay true to yourself. What does that mean? Honor that inner voice.
Mm.
Where is that inner voice leading you? Sometimes it's going to lead you to a great place, and sometimes it's going to keep you from going places. And also be mindful, very mindful of how you surround yourself with people, whether it's on social media. I always say you can unfollow people on social media, you can unfollow them on real life, in real life too. And take good care of that mental health. That mental wellness is everything, because it's going to trickle down to your lifestyle overall, your relationships at home, your kids. We have to take care of our babies. And if you're not okay, if you're not well enough, if you're not taking good care of yourself, you can't expect to take good care of your babies. And that for me is very, very important. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much for those last words of advice, ones that encourage us and ones that are just real deal, things that we need to consider. We went into business, of course, to help others. That's my desire and hope that you have that same, but also you went in business to really profit from it. Right. And you got to have calm, where I'm always excited to connect with you and to help you take your business to the next level. I enjoy helping you go from overwhelmed to systematizing, streamlining, automating, and of course, taking that business to the next level. Yeah, I like helping you get your SaaS on. Most importantly, I love helping you do it in its most simplified way. I would want to invite you to join us again on Tuesdays at 12 noon Eastern time, where I promise to bring you good content and other guest hosts, I like to call them, here on our show that will help you take your business from overwhelm to simplifying, automating, systematizing, and streamlining. Take care and welcome again to our awesome segment of Let's Talk Strategies with Danette Moss on Limelight TV as well as E360. Bye for now.